Okay, I just got it together and decided that I would just count. It was just so much easier than hemming and hawing about it. Hey y'all, welcome to the podcast where I share all of my yarn adventures with you. This is episode 60 and I'm going to dive right into finished projects. I only have 2 finished projects to share with you. It is very rare that I have such a small amount of projects, but it hasn't been very long since I podcasted. The first finished project is a pair of socks. And these socks have been floating around for a while. I actually forgot about them and I was looking through project bags or something. I don't even remember the story, but I found them and I'm like, oh my goodness, these were for my mom. And I actually started these April 25th of this year and I finished them August 11th of this year. These are just plain vanilla socks. And the pattern is the one that is just my go-to pattern. It's the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern. These are on sock weight. I am a big fan of DK weight socks, but for the summer months, I really wanted to use fingering or sock weight yarn. That's also what my mom prefers to wear. So usually anytime I make socks for her, it is going to be fingering weight yarn. So the colorway, I believe, is called Mermazing. This is a Yarnable colorway from my super talented friend Cheryl at Hypnotic Yarn. I started keeping track of how many socks that I knit in a year, and this was pair 13 for the year. The next and last finished project is, surprise, surprise, another pair of vanilla socks. And this colorway is Flip-Flops and Fun in the Sun. This was from June's ALC Yarn Club, and this was the limited edition colorway. Look, I love the stripes on these, and I think the toes turned out so cute too. This was pair 14 for the year and pair 5 for summer sock camp, and this was actually the last completed pair of socks for summer sock camp. But I'm really shocked that I was able to do 5. I started these on July 25th and finished them on August 15th. So I love making the shorty socks, and my go-to recipe is a 10 round cuff and a 10 round leg. For me, it's easier to remember, and I like the way that it fits. And these socks are for me. That's a wrap for finished items. I think that is the quickest I've ever gone through finished items on this podcast. Now let's dive into my favorite part, the works in progress. These are not in any particular order. I am just kind of grabbing them as they landed on my desk. And I already have a little tangle here. Okay. This, and I just smacked myself in the teeth. Okay, get it together. This is the project that I would say I am most obsessed with right now. I pretty much worked on this all weekend long. This is the Wolop cowl, and I am just having so much fun with this. I am using scrap yarn, and I'm just loving how all of these colors are looking. Isn't it so pretty and so fun? This is the colorway that I just finished some socks with. I am very loosely following the pattern. I will post a link below to my Ravelry project page. I started this on July 19th, and this is my progress so far. I don't have the pattern right here with me, and I can't really remember how many sections there are. I want to say 24, and I think I just started either the 15th or the 16th section. I don't know. I should have counted. Okay. I just got it together and decided that I would just count. It was just so much easier than hemming and hawing about it. So I just started color number 15, and y'all, this color is one of the colors I have been wanting to use in this from like several colors ago. I just love these dark colors with the pink and the blue and the little pops of red and the purple. I'm just obsessed. And I keep wanting to use it next and then I don't, but I thought this would be the perfect spot for it. What I'm trying to do is not have too many like dark areas or too many light areas. I'm trying to just space it out a little bit and let the colors flow. So right here, I start kind of getting a lot lighter compared to like this is a really dark area. This is dark too. You see how I'm just trying to like kind of space it out so I don't have like big chunks of dark or big chunks of where we have some white in it. That is kind of the method behind my madness. So I think right here is going to be the perfect spot for, that's not it, for this darker one. Again, this is the Wolop Cowl, and it has just brought me so much joy. We went over to our hunting land this weekend and my husband had to like spray food plots or something. I was just along for the ride. And I took this with me and several other projects, and none of them made it out of the bag except for this. I almost got one entire color section done. I don't even remember what color I was on. I think I was on this section. Anyways, it don't matter. I almost did one entire section while we were over there, and then we came home, and that afternoon we got in our pool, and this was the project that I took in the pool with me too. So I have just been not wanting to put this down. So here's one last look at it, and we will move on to my other very neglected projects. I have this in this super adorable strawberry basket from my talented friend Jenna Lee on Instagram. I will post a link below to her Etsy shop. She has some really cute project bags. Next up is a sock whip, and I am on the second sock, and this is what I have so far. I need to count. Let me see. I've got a mess here. I'm pretty sure I'm really close to starting the heel of this one. I did not write down the day that I started this, so it's a mystery, but I am just loving these speckles. I am eager to finish this so I can use this yarn in my Wolop Cowl. I need to put my Wolop Cowl down long enough so I can get these finished. These socks are super special to me because I have so many new things with these socks. This is the one that I finished, and if you'll notice, only the heel has a different color because I forgot for the cuff and I remembered for the heel, and then I was about halfway through with the toe decreases when I realized that, oops, I forgot to change colors. And I almost went ahead and changed colors, but I know myself enough that if anything is like different, I'm not gonna be able to do the same thing for the second sock. So if I wouldn't have changed it right at the toe decrease, there's no way that I would remember. There's just no way they would have matched. It would have drove me nuts. So I'm like, I'm just going with it, and I really like it. Like, I think that is just such a pretty color. I kind of wanted a milder pair of socks, which is really weird for me, but for some reason I just had to go with this color. I almost went with this color, and I think this would have been great, but for some reason, I just went with like a neutral, which is so weird for me, but I'm tickled with it. I think they're beautiful. I love speckled socks. So what was new for me is I knit this sock almost entirely on 9-inch circulars. And for the heel part, I used DPNs. what? I never thought I would be able to use DPNs, which technically I only used 2. So it's not as intimidating as using like 4 of them or how many ever you can get up to. So it really wasn't that intimidating, but I will say it made doing the heel a breeze using DPNs. And then I went back to the 9-inch circulars for the rest of it. And I was going to try to use DPNs for the toe. It really wasn't bad. Like, it was easy, but it was real fumbly and I felt like it was slowing me down, and I had a very little amount of time to knit, and I was like, I want to go ahead and finish these while I'm sitting here. So I just went to Magic Loop for the toe and was able to whip them up quickly. But I think that was what I was distracted on, trying to do DPNs for the toe, and I just completely forgot about the color change. But that's okay, because that's more scrap yarn that I'll have left for, you guessed it, my Wolop cowl. And I can only show you this side. I mean, I guess I can show you this side, but this is my hot mess of my other side. So what I do is I do just like and I got this idea from the crazy sock lady. I think I do things a little bit differently than she does, but here is the leg. I mark every 10 rows except for the very last 10 rows of the leg, and then I have a different stitch marker. And that way I know how many I did for the foot. And then I mark where I start the toe decrease of my foot with another stitch marker that stands out from the rest. That just helps me to visually see and count quickly how many rows I did for the leg and how many rows I did for the foot part and where I need to start my toe decrease. Then I do the same exact thing for the next sock, and I just leave these on until the second sock is finished, because I don't always have the first sock with me in my project bag. Sometimes like I'm on the go and I'll literally just grab the whip and the yarn out of the bag and throw it in my purse or something like that. So I don't always have this with me, and this just makes sense to my brain. So I've had a lot of people ask what is going on the party side of the sock. This just helps me make sure the second sock matches the first sock. I really love to hear about people's processes, because sometimes you can learn something new and try their way of doing things and then tweak it and make it your own. I am all about spending more time like knitting or crocheting and less time like trying to figure out where I was at or reading a pattern. So any type of like little visual clues that I can give myself, it just helps me work faster and more efficient. I should have mentioned earlier in the podcast that my puppy, Samson, is in the room with me and he is taking a nap. He's like literally right here. And I was hoping I didn't wake him up by saying his name. And he snores really loudly. So you may hear some really weird background noises. It's just my puppy. Just a minute ago, he was making some kind of weird noise and I thought somebody was in my house talking. And I took my earphone out and it was just him snoring. So hopefully you don't hear that, but I just wanted to let you know I'm not over here making weird noises. It's my puppy. I think I forgot to tell you the colorway name for this sock. It is called Sprinkle Everything, and this is from July's ALC Yarn Club. The theme was Oh So Sweet, and this was the limited edition colorway. Next up, and I really haven't worked very much on this. In fact, I just got this whip out this morning and I tried the whole walking on a treadmill and knitting at the same time. And as you can see, I didn't fall on my face or hurt myself. So that's good. I would knit for a little while and then I would put it down. I am one of those people that like when I'm walking, I'm like moving my arms too, especially like when I'm walking fast. So I kept like going like this and I'm like, this is not working. So I would try to like, knit all weird. I don't know. I just have to find my groove, I guess. But while I was like kind of warming up, I knit a little bit. And then as I got faster, I'm like, I got to move my arms. So I put it down and just did my thing. And then as I started kind of like slowing down and cooling down, I got it back out and started knitting some more. So I bet I only did like 6 rounds, but hey, it's progress. Now that I rambled on, let me go ahead and tell you what this is. It looks T90, but I love having my work all scrunched up. Anytime I'm doing just like plain stockinette, the smaller the needles, the better. So this is a muscle burr hat. I am obsessed with making these, and this will be my first one in a tonal. And this tonal is called Back to the Fuchsia, just because I think I'm so funny, I guess. I don't know. I love this color, and I thought Back to the Fuchsia was hilarious. I started this on May 12th of this year, and as you can see, I'm not even, I don't know, I'm probably a fourth of a way done with it. Yeah. This is gonna be my treadmill project, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I won't end up with like, you know, broken nose or a black eye or something. Last one, and this one is a favorite as well. I have a really hard time putting this one down, and I think the reason I haven't made as much progress on this one is because I need to be like sitting down and focusing on what row I'm on and all of that. Otherwise, I would be a lot further along on this one because I'm really enjoying it. This is the Get Set and Go shawl, and I talked about this one in my last podcast, I believe. Pretty sure I did. It was a free pattern for the month of August because she had a knit along going on, and this is just one of those patterns that I feel like I could always have on the needles. I love patterns like that are pretty simple but have like some nice details. And look, do not be intimidated by the word lace. I was super intimidated when I saw this and it was like lace sections. I was like, ooh, that sounds really fancy. Like that's too much for me. It is super simple. It is really simple, and don't be intimidated. I just love the results. My other favorite part about this is you just use one hank of yarn. So I think this is going to be a great stash busting pattern, and I just love shawls. I was actually thinking this would be really pretty in a tonal like that navy blue. That is such a pretty blue, and it would go with so many things. So it's just one of those projects that you just know you're going to at least make another one, and you're already kind of planning your next one as you're working on it. So this is the progress that I've made so far. I am on lace section 5, and I thought I was going to finish section 5 on Sunday, but I got to the end of it and it says to repeat like rows 149 and 150 5 more times. I was like, oh, well, that's not going to happen because I'm not going to be able to sit here that much longer. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm taking a highlighter, and as I'm on that row, I highlight it because your right side rows are written out. They change, but the wrong side rows stays the same throughout the lace sections. So it just helps my brain to know, okay, I don't have this one highlighted. Like when I get done with the wrong side and I flip it back over and I look at the pattern, I'm like, okay, I don't have this highlighted. I know I need to go to the next one. And there's something about like physically highlighting it that like tells my brain I'm on the next section. I don't know. I'm weird, and I just have these like little brain hacks that I do that really helps keep me on track in the pattern. And then I'm using different colors for each row. It's a whole thing, but it has really helped me keep track of where I'm at in the pattern, and I'm just really enjoying it. So this is the Get Set and Go shawl, and I will have links down below to either the pattern or the Ravelry project page. I can't remember if I started a project page or not. Those are all of my active works in progress. I decided that I'm only going to show you what I have been actively working on since the last podcast. Well, you know what? I take that back. I did work on this a little bit. This is my Playdate tee. I did work on this a little bit, and I need to try it on again and see where I'm at. I absolutely love this pattern, and this has been on the needles, I think, since February. I don't know. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but as I was talking, I remembered that I did work on this a little bit after the last podcast. There's something about podcasting that just gets me excited about my projects again, and I want to like finish all the things. So I did tell a little bit of a fib there, but I didn't mean to. So this is the Playdate tee, and y'all, you know what I think my problem is? And I'm just gonna be real with ya, okay? I think my problem is I done got chunky. Like, excuse my Mississippi talk there, but I've gotten chunky. After my gallbladder surgery, not this past December, but the December before, y'all, I have packed on weight. Like, it just will not come off. And I think that's what my problem is the thought of putting on a sweater that's kind of form-fitting. And I think that's my dilemma, because when I'm in my chunky phase, because, you know, it's just a thing, hormones, it's been this way all my life. I have seasons of chunky, seasons of not so chunky. It's the whole thing. I've embraced it. Anyways, when I'm in my chunky phase, I don't want anything that is like form-fitting. And then I don't want anything that's like super oversized, because then I feel like I'm wearing a tent, or I feel even bigger, like even wider. I don't know. It may not make any sense. You may just think I'm crazy, but I honestly think that's what my problem is that I'm in my chunky phase. I don't know. I don't want it to like not fit. I don't want to make it too big, and I'm planning on getting out of this chunky phase. So I think this is honestly what my dilemma is, and it kind of hit me the other day. I'm like, I think that's what my problem is. So, yeah. It's not that I'm not going to finish it. I will finish it eventually. I think it's just why I'm not in love with this project right now. I need to try it on, and I'm like, I don't really want to. So that's where I'm at on this. That officially wraps up all of my active works in progress. Now let me share with you some of the fun stuff that I got in since the last podcast. Full transparency, I actually had to pause this and go find stuff. This is why when I get stuff in the mail, I need to like set it in here and not touch it until I podcast. Otherwise, it's going to be scattered everywhere, and I'm either going to forget to share it, or I'm not going to be able to find it when I podcast. Is anybody else like this with their creative stuff, or is it just me? Let's just start out with the big part first, okay? My favorite knitting needles, besides the ChiaoGoo that I use for knitting socks, I primarily use ChiaoGoo for my socks and like muscle burr hat. Anything I'm gonna have to use magic loop for, my go-to is ChiaoGoo. But I discovered the Lykke needles several years ago when I went to Arkansas Yarn Co. for a yarn crawl. I discovered the Lykke knitting needles several years ago when I went to Arkansas Yarn Co. for a yarn crawl, and I did a trunk show there. I just fell in love with these needles. They were so sweet, and they sent me a box of goodies. So they sent these needles. This is the color set. These are the shorty needles. They are 3.5 inches long. I really love the shorty needles. They're just so comfortable in my hands, and look at all of those pretty colors. So this, I was actually waiting to go any further on this because I had cast it on with my blush set, which is the 5-inch needles. And I absolutely love those needles, but these are just so much more. I'm faster with the shorter ones. Once I knew that they were sending me this set, I set this whip aside so I could restart it with the new ones. And it is really hard not to start more projects because I just want to use all of these. They're so pretty. So I was already like over the moon and losing my mind about them sending me this set. When I got the box, I was like, that is big. They sent me so much yarn too. They sent me 2 skeins of this. This is sock yarn, and y'all, my country tail is not even gonna try to say that name because I will butcher it, but that's the name of it. And this is 75% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon. I actually bought some of this brand when I was in Arizona and was able to go to a local yarn shop there. Really excited to have some more of this yarn, and I think this would actually look really great with the yarn that I picked from there. They sent 2 skeins of this yarn, and it is the same brand. It's a bulky weight 5. So look at that blue. Is that not gorgeous? It feels so like squishy and bouncy, if that makes sense. I'm so goofy. They also sent this. It is some tweed yarn, and I was trying to find the size of it, the weight of it. But y'all, I have looked several times. I'm sure I'm overlooking it. I don't know what weight it is. It's pretty thin. I don't know. I probably need to get on their website. I probably should have done that before the podcast, but I love these colors. I think this will be a really pretty shawl. They sent me 2 of these. I think this would make a lovely shawl or wrap, something kind of, it's just so lightweight. I don't know. I have ideas, but I haven't like stopped long enough to like write them down. But I definitely feel like it needs to be a wrap or a cowl, something. Then they sent me some bulky yarn. This, okay, I consider this bulky, but it's actually a 3-weight yarn. Usually the 2-ply yarns can look like they are heavier than what they are. But I just love this color. Okay, this one, they sent me like, how many? 5 skeins of it. It's pure baby llama. And the squishiness and how soft this is, I feel like this needs to be a scarf. At first, when I saw the first one, I'm like, ooh, this would be an amazing, like, chunky hat. But, I don't know, there's so much of it. I feel like it needs to be a scarf. And I don't know how to explain how soft it is. It's like a cloud. Anyways, I am so tickled and just blown away with how generous they were. So I wanted to share with y'all all of the goodies that they sent me. You probably spied this one earlier. This is a new project bag from one of my favorite project bag makers, Barley and Pearls. And I just thought this was so cute. It says time to unwind, to knit or not to knit. There is no question. I just love it. I just think it's adorable. I just love the fabric that they use. Like it's sturdy enough that it holds its shape, but it's not so stiff that you can't like shove it in a purse or whatever. I've had some project bags that are so stiff that you just can't really do much with, which there's a time and a place for that. Like I do like some of those too, but most of the time my project bags are going to get thrown like in another bag with more projects. And I really need something that has like a little bit of bend to it, but also keeps its shape at the same time. So this is the small, and these are my go-to sock project bags. You can really fit a lot of stuff in there, and I'm obsessed with their snap option. I love being able to just snap it closed. A lot of times I will snap it closed and then have my working yarn just coming out of there, and I don't have to worry about it getting stuck on something that's in my lap or wrapped around a dog paw or something like that. So here is the size difference with the small and a medium. I was really surprised. I was expecting it to just be, you know, a smidge bigger. And that is a pretty big size difference. Super tickled with the medium size. This is what I have my Get Set and Go shawl in, and I'm, as you can tell, I'm just super tickled about it. They have 2 pockets on the inside, and you can fit a bunch of stuff in there. So taking this out, look, I have highlighters. We'll just pattern highlighters. Oh, I was looking for that. 2 Notion boxes. Like there's a lot going on in here. And I kind of like just having that little bit of extra room in the project bag because you just never know what I'm gonna stuff in there. Sometimes if we're just like running to town and my husband's with me, I let him be the adult. Like he can have the keys, he can have the money. I just want a project bag and my phone. And so there's times that I will just throw like my phone in there and chapstick. I am such a weirdo. Y'all just don't even know. I have to have my phone and chapstick, and I can get by. I'm fine. Phone, chapstick, I'm good. Well, of course, and a project. Something to keep my hands busy so I stay out of trouble. Okay, so random. So this one has 3 snaps, and I just love it. I love their project bags. That is all of the new fun items that I got in. Now, let me share with you what was inside July's ALC Yarn Club. The yarn from July, oh my goodness. So I'm itching to show you that first, but I'm gonna refrain and share the extra goodies with you. The theme was oh so sweet. My thoughts behind the theme was, even if you don't really like summertime, there are some really sweet things about summertime. It's like usually means vacation or sweet summer treats. There are some things that even if you're not a huge fan of summer, that you love about summertime. So that's kind of what I tried to focus on, because here in the South, summertime, it can be really rough because it is so hot and you just don't want to do anything. You don't want to go anywhere. I mean, there's been some days that it was just too hot for us to even get in our pool. Speaking of hot, this hair had to go up. It was already a hot mess, and I'm in here like all but sweating. So I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna put it up. Y'all get to see the real Nicky. This is probably how I look the majority of the day. Sometimes I will just have this part like clipped with a clip and this part in a messy bun or whatever these things are called. Okay. Anyways, y'all are gonna get to see the real Nicky because I'm hot and I don't want to start sweating because nobody wants to see that. Okay. Theme. Oh so sweet. The extra goodies. And all of these extras I need to go ahead and put in the yarn shop ASAP, because this first extra I am having a hard time staying out of. Oh my goodness. So this is cookie dough that you can eat. That is like a candy bar, but it's cookie dough. You can eat it at room temperature. You can put it in the fridge and it's still amazing. Ask me how I know. You know, I just wanted to make sure I was sending out something that was really good. So I tried it at room temperature, and then I stuck another one in the fridge, and it was divine too. I can't tell you. I don't know which way I like it more. It's just so good. The company is called Yarnable dough. At least that's how I pronounce it. And it's sugar cookie with sprinkles cookie dough. They have a couple other flavors too. I think there's like a chocolate chip and something else. I can't remember, but sugar cookie with sprinkles. I love sprinkles. And I just thought this was perfect and on theme for the month, and you'll see why in a minute. So this was one of the extra goodies that all of the Yarn Club members got. And literally, I'm trying not to drool as I'm telling you about this. I need to like get this out of my sight so I don't eat it. The next extra goodie is this button that says, "It's not hoarding if it's yarn." How cute is that? I love that it has a crochet hook and knitting needles, because I know I used to be super frustrated as a crocheter who didn't knit, and it seemed like there was so much knitting stuff out there, but not a lot of things that were crochet related. And you still see like a lot of things that'll say crochet, but it's clearly knitting needles on it. So I was happy to see that there was a crochet hook and knitting needles. So my Yarn Club members are primarily crocheters, but I have a lot more knitters in there. And then I have a lot of the crocheters that are learning to knit. So it just makes me so happy that they included both on this graphic. Next up is a sample packet of wool wash, and this is the grapefruit scented one. I really love just the little sample packets because I can put them like right by the sink or tuck them away somewhere, and it's not like another bottle of something by the sink. So this is the third extra that all of the Yarn Club members got. Then the premium and deluxe members get an additional little extra goodie that's exclusive just to them, and they got a fruity lip balm. There was a variety of flavors like orange, strawberry, I can't remember, but there was several different flavors in there. I could never have enough lip balm, so I always get tickled when I receive one of these in a Yarn Club package. Those were all the extras for July's package. Are you ready to see the yarn now? Last time I podcasted, I talked about how I changed a few things in the Yarn Club, and I am just loving it. Now we have a main colorway that all of the Yarn Club members get. Then we have a limited edition colorway that my deluxe members get. And if my premium members decide they don't want to get two of the main colorways, they can ask to get either a main colorway and a limited edition colorway, or a main colorway and the tonal of the month. I am just loving this new change to the Yarn Club. This was the main colorway for July, and this is called Candied Mermaid Lemonade. Look at those colors and the speckles. I just love this. This was on sock weight. Here it is on DK weight. And here it is on worsted weight. So these are the three weights that you can choose from when you join the Yarn Club. Here is Candied Mermaid Lemonade. What I was really picturing in my head when I dyed this was nerds. You know those little nerd candies? And I think Sonic has some type of slush that you can get the nerds in. And that's just what kept going in my brain as I was speckling, was like the different color nerd candies. And let me see if I still have, luckily I still have the inspiration photo for this colorway on my phone. Look at that. So that was the inspiration photo, kind of. A lot of times I will look at like a couple different photos and kind of grab colors from each one, but I just think it turned out so fun. So this was the main colorway for July. The limited edition colorway is my favorite. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. It's my favorite, and this is why. Look at those speckles. So the socks that I'm working on that I showed you earlier are in this colorway. Look at all that goodness. So this is called Sprinkle Everything. This was on sock weight. Here is the worsted weight base. So I recently had to switch my worsted weight base, and I was really sad about it because I like what I like. It's what I knew. My plan was to go back to my original base when they got more in stock. I think it was some kind of manufacturing issue. I don't really remember all the details, but this new worsted weight base, it takes speckles so much better than my other base that this just might be my forever worsted weight base. Look at those speckles. And I think the stitch definition is also going to be better with this. I have a hank set aside for a sassy triangle cowl that I'm gonna make soon, and I can't wait to work with this because I don't know, it just feels amazing. So did my other base. Like, I had no complaints about that base, but I just think this one's gonna be slightly different as far as how it takes speckles and the stitch definition. So this is the Sprinkle Everything on worsted. Here it is on DK. Sprinkles, speckles, they just make me so happy. So here it is on all three bases, sock, DK in the middle, and worsted on the end there. The last one is the tonal of the month, and this is Cotton Candy Taffy. So this is a beautiful, really light purple with hints of pink. It's like a purple that kind of wants to go pink, and then this bluish undertone there. You can just kind of see a hint of it. It just made me think of this taffy that I just loved when I was a kid. That was this color. So this is where Cotton Candy Taffy came from. And this is on my worsted weight base. I thought I grabbed this on my other two bases, but I either don't have any more on the other two bases, or I just grabbed the wrong bags because my other one was worsted weight. Well, let me just show you all three of them together. We've got the main colorway, Sprinkle Everything in the middle, the limited edition, and then Cotton Candy Taffy. I think these would be just so gorgeous together. Let's put the tonal in the middle. Look at that. Look at those speckles. Just love it. My hope with doing the yarn club this way instead of how I was doing it, where there was literally 3 different colorways, is that people can either use all 3 of these in one project, or they could just, you know, pair these 2, or just these 2, or just these 2. I just wanted to give them so many more options with their yarn. I also feel like going forward, like even if they don't use this yarn right away and it just goes in their stash, that I'm sure there's going to be another tonal coming down the line that they may be able to use with this. Or even another colorway that, you know, this would go with. Really just wanted them to have more options as far as using their yarn. You already know that I'm making a pair of socks with this colorway, and I also have a hank of this on sock weight for another pair of socks. So some people like me will just use these for 3 different projects, but at least I have the option to make a bigger project with all 3 if I wanted. The last thing that I want to share with you is I had a little shop update last week. I was playing around with some of the new dye colors that I got in, and I am getting ready to launch a tonal set, a tonally falling for you set. So I've been playing around with different tonals and seeing like what I'm gonna keep and what's gonna go into the collection, and what I'm just like, oh, I love that, but I don't think that's gonna be part of the collection. So this is definitely gonna be part of the collection. This is nautical, and I don't know why. I'm on a navy kick. I don't know where that came from, but I'm going with it. So I love this color. I just think it is such a pretty color. And I have one of these set aside to make a sassy triangle cowl with, and I can't wait. This will be coming soon. This is only available in the yarn shop on worsted weight right now. Once I launch the collection, you'll be able to order this on any of the 3 bases I offer, worsted, DK, or sock weight. The next color is going to surprise a lot of you. It's the color that shall not be named. Let me just show you this color. So if you've been here for a minute, you know that this color is just, it's just not my color. I like bright colors. There's just like a handful of colors that I just shy away from, and this is one of them. But I have so many yarn club members that like this color, so usually once a year around fall, I will come out with a colorway that is brown. I said it. It's hard to even say. So this is a brownie batter, and I had to name it something that I like. So this is brownie batter, and I love the different shades in it, and I can appreciate the color. That was really hard for me. If you like this color and you're a fan, and I will have this available also in the collection that you can order it on worsted DK or sock weight. I also broke out the fall colors, and this is Harvest. I just love this. This is in the yarn shop right now on worsted and DK weight. The sock weight sold out the first night. So I will probably dye more sock weight. I will either dye more sock weight or I will put up a pre-order, because I've had a few people say that like they would make a sweater out of this. So for people that want sweater quantities, I may just go ahead and do a pre-order. It's just so much easier to do a pre-order. That way I'm not guessing which weight is going to be the most popular, and people can order the exact quantity that they want. So this is Harvest, and I honestly think that these two would look really good together in a project. I do think depending on the project, you might need like another one, but I kept seeing these together in the bin of yarn that needs to be labeled. And I'm like, you know what? That actually might look really good in a project together. So this is Brownie Batter and Harvest. Here's another tonal that is gonna make it into the collection. This is Gray Skies. I love gray tonals. I just love gray. It's one of my favorite colors. And look at all of those different shades there. There's also this one that I'm pretty sure is gonna make a comeback. This is Thunder Rolls. And funny story about this one, I actually thought this was gonna be like a charcoal gray, and I wanted it to be a dark charcoal gray, so I used more dye than I normally do, and surprise, surprise, it came out black. But you can see those undertones of a charcoal gray, and I just think it is so pretty. So this is Thunder Rolls, and this is a set on DK weight that you can find in the shop. This is what I paired it with. This one is called In a Mood. I just love how dark and moody this one is. It has like a little bit of black and charcoal and like a plum color. An eggplant color in there. I just think it is so pretty. I thought these two were perfect together. So you can find this set in the shop. I'm not going to go through all of the new ones that I added in the shop because we'll be here for a while, but I wanted to show you at least like a few of my favorites. Well, the brown one wasn't a favorite, but I wanted to show it. This color I named That Green Though. I just love it. I don't know why. I don't consider myself someone that loves green, but then when I dye green yarn, I'm like, oh, that is so pretty. So I think I secretly do love green. I named this one That Green Though, and it will be coming back, but it's gonna be a little bit different. I think I want it just a bit darker. If you like this color, grab it, because when it comes back, it's gonna be a little bit different. And I think it's only on worsted weight. Then there are just a few one-of-a-kinds where I was playing around with some new colors and some new speckles. I will post a link in the show notes to the yarn shop if you want to check out any of those colorways. And if you do place an order, add the word podcast to your order notes, and I will throw in a really fun free gift for you. That's a wrap for the podcast today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and until next time, happy yarning. Bye for now. We don't chew on sticks. Let me have it.